Hello. How is everybody tonight? Happy Sunday to everybody. Am I coming through loud and clear? Let me see. Sure. Yes, I am. How is everybody tonight? Let's see, who have I got with me so far here? Let's do some shots. We got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight, so let's just dive right in. We've got Sam Squatch here trying to evoke the Taco Man. That's not very wise, Sam. Got RJ Skarinki here. We got Astro Juicy tuning in over on Twitter. Got DJ with us. Got Captain Crunch. Dylan. We got Alexis Horror. How you doing tonight, Alexis? We got Spooks McCreepy. How's it going, Spooks? Got Scratch Burno. What's crack-a-lackin'? Mr. Burno. Ben Grimm. I can't wait for the Blair Piz project.
Ben Grimm says, I can't wait for the Blair Piz project.
You never know. You never know. I think Jason Bloom is a fan of my channel, so I that we may have just given him an idea. Got Wise Guy here. We got Husker. Richard Stange. Orman, how you doing tonight, my man? Hope all is well with you. Boogie Manny's hanging out here with us. You got Barney Likes Beer. The suspense of what color his microphone sponge will be this week is killing me. Well, you know what? Let's do a little poll here. Do we want red? Do we want orange? Or do we just want plain old black? You guys, let me know in the chat. Orange, red, or black? Let me know. Witch Hunter is here. Christina Marie, how are you doing tonight? Redbeard's here. Dave is here. Punisher Batman fan. Piz, would you direct a horror movie where Jeremy is the killing tacoinator? Yes, I would. I would. Although Jeremy would be difficult to work with. He's a prima donna. Got Geriatric Geek. How you doing tonight, my man? Hope you're doing well. Pumpkin J is here. Matthew is here. What's up? Frightful Night Media. Chris B. Somebody here, have I passed over that comment? They said they're new to collecting. Hey, what's up, Al? I think I may have... Did I pass that one up? The person who said that they are new to collecting. Well, welcome to collecting. Oh, there we go. Captain Crunch is new to collecting. Well, awesome. Welcome. Welcome. I think you'll find it a lot of fun. And very rewarding. Very cool. Very cool. Matthew, Love from the Caribbean. You went from 85 out of 100, now 120 out of 100 being a Smashing Pumpkins fan. Oh, okay. Yeah, I of course, yeah. Jeremy's a big Pumpkins fan, and I like the Pumpkins too. Whenever we're riding around in the car, it's either Smashing Pumpkins or Soundgarden he wants to listen to. Occasionally Alice in Chains, but it's mostly either Pumpkins or Soundgarden. Orange. There's a vote for Orange. I saw Dawn 78 last night on the big screen. Awesome. That would be fun. I'd love to see Dawn of the Dead on the big screen. That'd be great. Michael Steiner's here. How you doing tonight, my man? Another vote for Orange. Red, Orange. There's one for Black. Orange. Hey, Justin, how you doing? Digging the shirt. Oh, cool. Glad you like it, Mark. Yeah, the new Gutter Garbs. Jason Takes Manhattan. Very cool. Very cool shirt. Jeremy pretty much controls the radio whenever we're out and about. He controls it hardcore too, like the volume and everything. If it's not loud enough for him, he'll say, "Can't hear it, turn up the radio." Or if he's in the front seat, he'll just crank it up himself. So, but yeah, he's serious about the radio, and he wants full control of it. And I give him control, so, why not? Black. Hey, what's up, Kevin? Orange. It looks like Orange is winning. So let's put Orange. Okay, Horror Orban says Orange. I think the Oranges have won. So we may switch back. We may switch around. We've got Red and Black to play with at a different point during the night. So we'll go Orange now because Orange is very Halloween-y, of course, and I think we're halfway to Halloween now, aren't we? Are we about 200 days away from Halloween at this point? I think we're getting close. That clip of you turning off Sugar Ray on Jeremy was too funny. It wasn't just that it was Sugar Ray. It was just that I was controlling the radio. He didn't like that. He did not like that. So he's not a big fan of Sugar Ray or anything. It was just that I was messing with the volume. So Jeremy's not said anything about wanting to go see Abigail. I'm going to go see Abigail, certainly. But Jeremy's not said anything about wanting to go see Abigail. Why don't we jump ahead? Let's jump ahead. Let's talk, since we're talking about upcoming movies. What did y'all think of that MaXXXine trailer? That MaXXXine trailer I thought was perfect. It looks awesome. First, the setting, Hollywood in the 80s, you know what I mean? You've got like the Night Stalker going on in the background. You've got murder everywhere. You've got sleaze everywhere. You've got gritty, nasty vibes. My God. That looks insane to me. I'm hyped for MaXXXine. To me, MaXXXine looks... I think it's going to be better than X, and I've not even seen Pearl yet. I'm going to have to sit down and watch Pearl before going into MaXXXine. I've heard nothing but good things about Pearl. I've just put it off. And I loved X, but I don't know. MaXXXine just looks like, looks like a great time. So... MaXXXine trailer was awesome. Yeah, wise guy. I wish I hadn't seen the trailers for. Well, I only saw one trailer for Abigail, but I felt like I saw pretty much the whole movie. The one good thing, one of many good things about the MaXXXine trailer was that it didn't make me feel that way after I watched it. I didn't feel like, well, now I don't have to watch it since the trailer gave everything away. Abigail felt like that trailer felt like it gave 70% of the movie away, at least. Andy, you also saw Dawn in the theater? Cool. MaXXXine is the best trailer I've ever seen. I mean, it did what all good trailers are supposed to do, and that's get you hyped for the movie. They tell you just enough about the movie to get you hyped about it. It gives you a sense of the vibe of the movie, the mood of the movie. It lets you know where and when, and it leaves the rest for you to discover on your own. That's what a good trailer does. And very, very, very few trailers do that. Abigail is a prime example of a trailer that did not do that. Abigail's a prime example of a trailer that just gives away way too much. I'm still going to see it. I'm still hoping for the best, but I feel like I've already seen most of it. What's up, Eddie? MaXXXine is fire. It certainly looks that way. I've actually never seen Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Chris B, the trailer was fire. I agree. No, Jeremy did not watch X with me. He had no desire. Yes, Mia Goth. Yes, Mia Goth. You need to watch Pearl ASAP. I know. I need to get around to it. Any chance you're going to check out Sting? I've heard good things about it. Sting. I don't know if is that the Scorpion movie? Or is that let me see. Oh, no, it's okay. I think I've seen people post like pictures and stuff on it on like social media, but I've not really looked into it that much. After raising an unnervingly talented spider in secret, 12-year-old Charlotte must face the facts about her pet and fight for her family's survival when the once charming creature rapidly transforms into a giant flesh-eating monster. Sing it again for us real quick.
Summer breeze, aging to know, just oh.
Pretty good. Sounds interesting. Bismo, thank you for the $5 super chat. Good to see you, dude. Hopefully the Crow just gets erased or retitled at the very minimum. I don't see that happening. I don't see either of those things happening. But thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thank you for being here. Sting sounds promising. Yeah. I'll check it out. MaXXXine trailer looks fantastic. It really didn't show that much. It's set in my favorite year of the 80s. No footage of Mia Goth kicking anybody in the head in that trailer, unfortunately. No footage of that. Hopefully that footage will surface at some point. But yeah, MaXXXine looks incredible. I'm hyped for that. When that trailer got me pumped. Yeah, definitely looking forward to MaXXXine. It's way up there on my list now. It was already up there. Now it's like way up there on my list. So, but yeah, let's, first off, let's talk about, Friday the 13th, the final chapter had its 40th anniversary yesterday, as a matter of fact. And I'm sure there's a lot of Friday the 13th, the final chapter fans in the chat tonight. I have called it the perfect slasher. In my opinion, it has all of the elements, it hits all of the prerequisites, all my prerequisites of a great slasher movie, and it executes all of them, perfectly. You've got a great cast, you've got likable characters, you've got great freaking kills, great effects. I mean, it's, what can you, is there anything even remotely negative that you can say about the final chapter? You've got one of the best Jasons, Savini special effects, talented director in Joe Zito, really good script by Barney Cohen. One of the best slashers ever, period. Perfect slasher. And yes, you've got Crispin Glover. Crispin freaking Glover. Oh,
Man,
and that
you
dance.
Are one scared cat. They call me Reggie the Reckless.
Spooks McCreepy, thank you so much, man. 24 months of being a channel member. I appreciate that. God bless Crispin Glover and that dance. I know. That dance, man. And that was all Glover. That was not any direction from Joe Zito. That was not written in the script. That was all Glover. All Glover. Yeah. The Burning is also, I think, to me at least, a perfect slasher too. I prefer The Burning to the final chapter, but I think they're both like perfect slashers. But you have 40 years of the final chapter. Great stuff. Also, did you guys hear about, did anybody in the chat ever play the Friday the 13th game? Did anybody ever play that? All Glover, no filler. Exactly. And yes, Judy Aronson. Judy Aronson, she doesn't age. She doesn't age. She looks like almost exactly the same as she looked in 84. I don't know what her secret is. I don't know what kind of deal she made with the devil. I don't know if she bathes in virgin blood. But she's doing something. She's doing something, and it's working. She does not age. Crispin Glover in River's Edge. River's Edge is a great freaking movie. If you guys have not seen River's Edge, that's a great movie. You should absolutely see River's Edge. Crispin Glover is hilarious in River's Edge. Great cast. You've got Keanu Reeves, Dennis Hopper. Oh Lord, what's the guy? He played Grandpa Munster in Rob Zombie's Munsters. Forget his name. He's in it. Ione Skye. The kid from Near Dark. Jason, not Jason. I can't think of his name. But great movie. If you've not seen River's Edge, seek it out immediately. Incredible movie. Get your Glover on. Yes. If you've not seen the Crispin Glover Clowny Clown music video, I highly recommend that too. That is an experience. Yes. So we had got some love for the Friday the 13th game in the chat. Okay, all right. Daniel Roebuck. Yes, Daniel Roebuck. Thank you, Justin. Yes. So I've been meaning for a long time to do a video just talking about the Friday the 13th game, but I just kind of keep putting it off. And now the game's like, I don't want to say the game's forgotten, but it almost is. However, there was an announcement recently that a group of fans of the game were getting together to create this mod for the game called Friday the 13th, the game Resurrected. And they were going to add pretty much all the stuff that was going to be added in the game before, the lawsuit, or before Gun Media abandoned it, whatever you want to believe. Like Jason X and, the Jason X spaceship. But like they were also going to add like Remake Jason, both versions of Remake Jason, Ghost Jason from Never Hike Alone. A lot of new maps, new counselors, the whole 9 yards. And like everybody got super excited for about a day. And then they got hit with the cease and desist. And so I do want to talk about that just briefly, because it's like it's just so Friday the 13th at this point. And by that I mean disappointing. Because like everything associated with Friday the 13th at this point, I think is just disappointing. So this is what the game was going to look like. There you've got Jason X Jason, you've got Ghost Jason, you've got the Remake Jason with the tater sack, you've got the lady from the robot, the android lady from Jason X, you've got Tina there. All the possibilities. Oh, so many possibilities. And then, of course, it got hit with the cease and desist. And if you read this cease and desist, it's so like insulting. And some of the statements in this cease and desist, and let's read some of this together. I'm sure it'll probably infuriate some people too. Horror Inc. has invested a substantial amount of time and money to build value in the horror IP rights all over the world. Horror will not sit idly by when its rights are being infringed. It will not hesitate to commence legal action where necessary to protect its rights. Without limitations, we have begun submitting copyright takedown notices, yada, 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 basically threatening them with $150,000 per copyright infringement. So, Jason X, $150,000. Tina, $150,000. Remake Jason, $150,000. But there's a point in here where basically they say, like, let me see if I can find it. But basically they say, like, we will not allow you to, let me see if I can find it. Essentially, it says, we're not going to sit by and allow you to run, like them making this modded game is going to ruin the series. This modded game is going to ruin the series. When, let's face it, the people behind Friday the 13th have done enough to ruin the series as it is. This modded game, made by the fans for the fans. Keep in mind, the game was the only thing that kept Friday the 13th alive all those years. And that game did more for Friday the 13th than probably most of the movies, honestly. But because these fans want to get together and keep the game alive, they're going to ruin the Friday the 13th IP. They're going to ruin the franchise. How can it get more ruined? Is my question. It's insulting. It was insulting. And just disappointing. Insulting and disappointing. I would love to have Sean Cunningham come on the channel, and I tried to make that happen a few years ago through an intermediary, and the word that I got back was he doesn't want to talk about Friday the 13th. And my response was, how can I have Sean Cunningham on my channel and not talk at least a little bit about Friday the 13th? Like, I don't just want to talk about Friday the 13th. I want to talk about just the business. I want to talk about the other movies he's done. Because keep in mind, he's not just Friday the 13th, but the House series, another popular franchise he's behind as well. But don't want to talk about Friday the 13th. He doesn't get Friday the 13th. He doesn't understand why it's so popular. Doesn't get it. Doesn't like it. My vision of Sean Cunningham, from hearing from people who have worked with him or who know him or have known him, is like he wanted to be, a quote unquote serious filmmaker, a respected filmmaker. And we all know the story of, Friday the 13th was done just to keep the lights on so that he could finish this kid's movie that he thought was going to propel his career into the stratosphere. And what kid's movie? Did it ever get made? Who knows? Who cares? Friday the 13th got picked up by Paramount, got a wide release, and it outgrossed The Shining. Friday the 13th outgrossed The Shining. So that movie gave him a career. It wasn't the career he wanted. It made him a millionaire many, many times over. It's been a constant source of income for him for all these decades. But at the same time, it's like, it's his albatross. He hates that Friday the 13th is going to be etched on his tombstone. So, I don't know. It's sad. It's sad. A part of me is like, I've said this before, but I think, say what you will about like Blumhouse or whatever. The only way we're going to ever get a new Friday the 13th theatrical movie, is if it goes to Blumhouse or A24, honestly. And that series, that TV show, what's happened to it? Have you heard anything about that TV show in like anytime soon? Because I haven't. So part of me is almost like, maybe the series should just die. Really? Maybe it's, maybe it's better this way. But at the same time, it's like, for those of us who love it and want it to stay around, it's like we're just insulted over and over and over again, or disappointed over and over and over again. So, I don't know. Sad. Listen, let me catch up with the chat here. Let me cool off for a minute. I need to cool off. I got hot there for a second. Then he needs to... Well, there was a rumor a few years ago that he was looking to sell the rights entirely to Friday the 13th and House. Like, he wanted to just sell both of them out and then just retire and go away. and that never happened. I mean, that's true. That's true, Orman. That's true. That's true. So, happy birthday, Friday the 13th, the final chapter. And RIP to Friday the 13th, the game, Resurrected. Hey, vey. If you've not dropped a like on the stream, please do so. I would appreciate that. Well, let's talk about, speaking of Jason Blum, it was announced recently that Blumhouse and Lionsgate are going to be remaking the Blair Witch Project. Now, at first, it was announced as a remake, but here lately, I'm hearing it being called a reboot. So, remake, reboot. I don't know. A reboot is probably better than if they're trying to do a straight up remake of the original movie. I did a social media post where I was like, the Blair Witch Project is lightning in a bottle. It was the perfect movie at the perfect time. You know, it was a less cynical time. It was before the internet was in everybody's home. And like, you know, it was, again, perfect movie, perfect time, lightning in a bottle. And it was a great freaking movie. A great, great, great freaking movie. There's no way they're going to replicate that today. There's just no freaking way. But like a reboot, that sounds kind of like, you know, I don't know. Reboots, remakes can kind of, I don't know. That's another movie that probably shouldn't have spawned a series. Although I think if the 2016 Blair Witch was released when Book of Shadows was released, and Book of Shadows was released in 2016, both of those movies would be looked at differently today, because Blair Witch was the sequel that people wanted after the Blair Witch Project. Because that movie kind of answers all the questions from the Blair Witch Project. And you even get to see the witch. Like, that was like the biggest criticism of that movie that I remember from back in the day. They didn't show us the witch. Where's the witch? I wanted to see the witch. Well, there you go. You finally got to see the witch. And like, it looked awful. I hope you enjoyed. But I think Book of Shadows was ahead of its time. And I really like Book of Shadows. I saw Book of Shadows when that thing came out in theaters, and I hate I hated it. But over the years, I've grown to really love that movie, because I think that's the only way you could have done a sequel to the Blair Witch Project without doing the same thing over again, which is essentially what the 2016 movie was. But if they had done the 2016 as the direct sequel, and then they came out in 2016 with this very meta, you know, Book of Shadows, I think both those movies would have been looked at differently. I think Blair Witch would have been a big hit as the Blair Witch Project's direct sequel. I think it would have made a lot of money. Would Book of Shadows have made a lot of money? I don't know, but I think it probably would have been looked upon much differently. But I don't know how they're going to do that kind of. I mean, like the 2016 Blair Witch. Are there any fans of that movie in the chat? Josh, I'm gonna address that here very soon. I'm going to address that very soon. Have they just ran out of ideas in Hollywood? Yes. Here's the thing. And when I did my Bloodstream with Glenn Morgan, I think he put it perfectly. The studios only want to do remakes, reboots, sequels, requels, whatever, because they have that, they've got the name value. And because when something that's not a reboot, remake, sequel, prequel, whatever comes out, it's not always embraced. It doesn't always do well. Perfect example, Halloween 2018 and oh God, I can't believe I forgot. What was the movie that took place in the like the Halloween Horror Nights movie? What was oh God, Hell something, right? Halloween 2018 made incredible money. Hell whatever did nothing. You had legacy IP versus brand new property. Hellfest. Thank you, Crescent Knights. Thank you. So it is partially our fault too. It is partially our fault too. So yes, they don't have any new ideas because they don't want new ideas because they don't think new ideas sell. And they're not wrong. Oh, by the way, Eduardo Sanchez posted very recently saying that there's going to be some kind of Blair Witch Project physical media release coming out soon. He said this summer. So hopefully we're looking at like a fancy, collector's edition kind of release for the Blair Witch Project. I'd love that. But I just don't know how. It just sounds like a bad idea. It just sounds like a bad idea. A reboot, a remake, whatever it's going to be to the Blair Witch Project. I mean, like, I just don't see how that's going to work. Like, they could make a decent found footage movie with the right elements. But part of the Blair Witch Project's power was that it fooled people. Again, it was the right movie at the right time. People thought it was real. You're never gonna, I mean, aside from that movie that, like, teens on TikTok thought was Megan is missing. Like, teens on TikTok thought that was real for a day or two. That kind of phenomena is just not going to happen ever again. What's up, Saturn Video? How are you doing? The original was perfect for its time and wouldn't translate today. No, absolutely not. Wingard's commentary on The Blue is depressing. Why? Did the movie not turn out the way you wanted it to? You're going to the 25th anniversary Blair Witch tour this October. Cool, man. I've been to the cemetery there in Burkittsville. And I drove through Burkittsville. I don't remember. I don't know if I saw anything else, but stopped at the graveyard, shot some footage, and took some photos of the graveyard there. I just don't care for the franchise in general, but I guess I'd be willing to try another movie. I enjoyed the 2016 flick. The last 20 minutes were nerve shredding at the cinema. I liked the very end of it. Like, I liked where, like, they were trying not to look. They were standing there and they didn't want to look behind them because the she was there, and like if she saw them, she'd kill them. And like the one guy who was Heather's brother, like heard Heather. Like the girl couldn't hear anything. But he was like, Heather? Heather, is that you? And he turned around and he was, ah, he's dead. And then she's standing there and she hears him saying like, hey, I'm okay. You know, let's turn around and look at me. I'm here. I'm here. You know, like that was good. That was good. The rest of it, they need to release the Sundance cut. Maybe that will be part of this release. I hope so. Do we know what the what's the difference in the Sundance cut? I'm guessing it's probably longer, right? That's why nostalgia culture is poisoning itself. The industry thinks we want the same thing regurgitated over and over again. I mean, I don't know. I mean, nostalgia culture certainly plays into it, but I mean, I don't, you know, most of the people, there was a huge chunk of the audience for Halloween 2018 who probably had never seen any other Halloween movie, but they knew of Halloween. They knew of Michael Myers. And so they were like, okay, let's go check this out then. So, but nostalgia and horror definitely, I mean, it's peanut butter and jelly. And, you know, the movie studios and, I mean, we're easily exploited when it comes to nostalgia. As horror fans, we're easily exploited when it comes to our nostalgia. I'll definitely say that. Oh my God, that documentary, The Curse of the Blair Witch, whew, that thing scared me. That thing scared me. Like, I remember watching that before the movie came out on the Sci-Fi Channel. That thing was freaky as hell. That was a great selling point for the Blair Witch Project. That documentary was killer. What's up, Kevin? How you doing? I mean, that's probably what Blumhouse and Lionsgate are thinking. It's a movie that can be made cheaply and bring in the fans hungry for nostalgia. Yeah. I mean, that's what they're hoping. Wingard has said that in 2016, that isn't the witch we see. Apparently, it's one of her victims. Yeah, okay. I did see the Blair Witch Project in theaters. Yes. I saw it in a rundown, nasty old theater in a rundown, nasty old mall, where I think the theater was the last thing still in the mall. No, I think there was like the theater and like a Chinese restaurant, and the rest of the mall was totally empty. And a buddy of mine, we went and saw an afternoon matinee. And it was one of those theaters where like it didn't even have like one of those whatever kind of degree it is, to where like if you're sitting it was just kind of flat, as I recall. So like if there was a big tall person sitting up front, it could ruin the movie for everybody behind them. Doesn't matter what row you were in. That's what kind of theater we're talking about here. Crappy old theater. But it was the perfect theater for that movie. But I remember that movie starting, and like it was just tunnel vision. I just, like, whatever was going on around me, I paid no attention to. I was just locked into that movie to the very end. And I remember walking out of the theater and being surprised and relieved that it was still daylight. So, I love Blair Witch 2, too. Yeah. Wingard was depressed because no one went to see the film. He constantly keeps saying, "What's the point of me recording this commentary? It's kind of sad to listen to." Well, I mean, that's, I need to listen to that commentary. Like him complaining about recording the commentary the whole time. The Sundance cut is over an hour longer. Damn. I don't know if it needs an extra hour. Does it need an extra hour of those three wandering around in the woods? Really? I don't know if it needs that. What's up, Eerie Spirit? How you doing? God, I loved goth girls in my teens and 20s, and Kim Director made me bite my lip. Mm-hmm. She's one of the first like goth girls I remember seeing like on the big screen, really. I don't think Jeremy's seen any of the Blair Witch movies, honestly. Nostalgia didn't work for Dr. Sleep. I remember asking the person sitting next to me if they were a big fan of Kubrick's The Shining, and they told me they never saw it. I was shocked at their response. Yeah, I mean, that movie didn't do well. Yeah, that movie did not do well. But The Shining didn't do well when we were just talking about, Friday the 13th outgrossed it. So it just makes sense that the sequel wouldn't do well either. Here's Swaggy in the chat. What's up, man? How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Watching Book of Shadows makes me miss old school Hot Topic. It's funny. I was talking to Jeremy today. His birthday's coming up in June, and I was like, "What do you want to do?" And one of the things he wants to do is go to Hot Topic. And I'm like, "Well, what are you going to do at the Hot Topic?" And he was like, "The goth kids." And I was like, "You want to say hi to the goth kids?" Yes. He just wants to go to Hot Topic and say hi. He just wants to go to Hot Topic and observe the goth kids while buying t-shirts. So goth kids. How you doing, Eli? I was 19 when the Blair Witch Project came out. 19. I was still a young lad back then. Oh, this is a Deftones cap. So this is it says it on the back there somewhere, Deftones. So oh, how was Late Night with the Devil, Swaggy? I've yet to see it. Shouldn't that be hitting Shudder pretty soon? Late Night with the Devil? But anyway, to close out the Blumhouse. Oh, wait a minute. Well, let me bring this up. Well, let me close. So to close out the Blumhouse Blair Witch Project remake, reboot, whatever. I don't. I don't see it working. Certainly don't see it having a similar impact to the first film. as much as I love Book of Shadows, I mean that's a movie that it shouldn't have
Sing
been
it
a
again for
series,
us, real
really.
quick.
Summer breeze, aging to know, just oh.
Pretty good. Sing it.
Parker, thank you for the $1.99, sir. How are you tonight? Hope you're doing well. Thank you, thank you. That's right, Blade Runner 2049 didn't do well either, just like the original. Yeah. Thank you, Saturn Video. There's Orc in the chat. What's up, Orc? How you doing, man? So yeah, I just don't know about this Blair Witch remake, reboot, whatever it's supposed to be. Capitalism at its worst. There you go. There you go. What's up, Zombie Girl? How you doing? You checked out Rosemary's Baby for the first time today. Yes, that's one of Jeremy's favorites. I've got the 4K right there. Yeah. Jeremy loves him some Rosemary's Baby. Late Night with the Devil was excellent. Cool. Yeah, shouldn't it be on Shudder pretty soon? Right? But well, let's talk about, somebody mentioned the cast of the Blair Witch Project pretty much getting the shaft when it comes to any kind of like residual payments for that film. And this is something that I've talked about this before during streams. I don't understand how the studios can cook the books to make it look like some of the biggest movies ever made have never turned a profit. Movies like The Godfather, Forrest Gump, huge movies, according to the studios, have never turned a profit. Therefore, all of the actors, writers, whoever that had net points in their deal have never received a dime. I just don't understand how they can do that. When I did a Sunday night stream about screenwriting with Jeffrey Reddick, Peter Atkins, and Todd Farmer. I asked them, like, how can the studios get away with this? And Jeff mentioned that one of the tactics is that the studio will take the profits of one movie and apply it to the losses of another movie. And they're somehow able to get away with that. And or they can take the losses from one movie and like spread it out among several other movies that didn't make a profit. That still doesn't make any sense to me. And I understand there's the budget, and there's, you spend a lot of money on marketing the movie, and there's all sorts of other bills. But The Godfather's never turned a profit, really? At this point, The Godfather's never made a dime. Forrest Gump has never made a dime. Like, it doesn't make sense. But the studios are allowed to get away with this. Distorted Visions, how's it going, man? You're currently cat sitting. Hitting up a ton of screenings. That's good. Saw a Riddle of Fire on 35 today and have ticks for Far From Beyond. Cohen and Tate on 35. Wow. Sounds like a lot of fun. Awesome. No, Brian Thompson did not say anything about a new Fright Night 2 release, and I didn't ask him. But just a short time ago, Joshua Leonard, who was one of the stars of the Blair Witch Project, spoke out about this on his Instagram. And here is what Mr. Leonard had to say. So this is my face on a press release for a film being made by two major studios. Both I've worked for, both I respect. The weird part is that I didn't know anything about it until a friend sent me a congrats screenshot yesterday. My frustration is compounded because I've been trying to get Lionsgate to engage for over a month about a Blair Witch Project charity screening I'm putting together for O Positive Fest to raise money for artists without health care, and no one will get back to me. And yes, I've been thinking a lot about this time after seeing my Blair Witch Project collaborators recently and sharing memories, sweet and effed up ones. Fact, in 1999, Blair Witch Project's original distributor claimed to have released the most profitable independent film ever, bought for $1 million, grossed $250 million plus. While internally they told us that they were actually losing money from marketing expenses. So we might wind up owing them money. Fact, because we used our real names in the first film, the studio claimed copyright. We had to take them to federal court to win our names back. Fact, a Hollywood insider told the press that we, actors, were paid $4 million as a buyout for our ownership points, while in reality we made $300K and never saw another dime. After buying a car and paying off his student loans, Mike was back moving furniture within 12 months of the release, while still on magazine covers. Imagine that. You were in the most profitable movie ever made at that time. You were on, and if you were around in 99 when he says still on magazine covers, you were on every magazine cover. If you weren't on the cover of the magazine, you were on the back of the magazine. Those three, their faces were everywhere, all over late night television, all over previews for the movie, on Entertainment Weekly, on Time, on TV Guide, every magazine. They were on it. So you're in the most profitable movie ever made. $250+ million. Your face is everywhere. And within 12 months of that movie's release, you're back moving furniture. There were many factors that made Blair Witch Project a success, timing, marketing, etc., but there was also the fact that us weirdos got together with virtually no resources and made a film that worked. Can we just go on record and say that the film itself is a huge part of why we're still talking about it 25 years later? I'm so proud of our little punk rock movie, and I love the fans who keep the flames burning, but at this point it's 25 years of disrespect from the folks who've pocketed our lion's share, pun intended, of the profits from our work. And that feels both icky and classless. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And how Lionsgate can get away with saying that the Blair Witch Project has not turned a profit to the point where, like, blows me away. Like, they were going to, they had to sue the studio for their own names. Their own names. And then the studio lies and says, we gave them $4 million. And wow. I mean, that's the business. That's the industry. Like, you gave, like, it was Artisan at the time. they invested $1 million and got 250 plus million out of it. Now, granted, they paid a lot of money to market that movie, but that movie marketed itself. That movie was marketing itself before Artisan ever got involved, because Eduardo Sanchez and Daniel Myrick had created a website that sold that movie as real. And the buzz around that movie from film festivals was insane. This was long before Artisan ever got involved. Wow, it's insane. It absolutely is like mafia stuff. It's like organized crime, that they can cook the books and cheat people out of money, and they just get away with it. And if you make a big enough stink about it, well, it's not going to work anymore. You have to take it, or you're not going to work anymore. It's kind of like when the whole controversy happened with Neve Campbell on Scream 6. She didn't just want more money. She wanted a producer credit. That would have guaranteed her back end money, a paycheck for life every quarter. She's been the star of that series for 5 movies. I'm sorry, because she was the star of the 5th one too. Don't get it twisted. But for the 6th one, they're like, nah, screw you. You don't matter that much. When they crawled back to her for 7, because they crawled back to her for 7, they gave her what she wanted and more. And I'm glad they did. I hope she made them kiss her feet before she signed the contract. Imagine somebody copywriting your own name. I know. Yeah. And you having to go to court to fight to get your own name back. Ugh. Good God. Wow, indeed. Wow, indeed. That's true. That's true. Death Proof. That's true. And like some of the actors and stuff, like they don't know what they're signing, or they're just happy to get a job. They sign away. I mean, like, do you think we were talking about Friday the 13th. Do you think any of those people in the original Friday the 13th see any kind of residuals or royalties from that movie? No. Again, that movie outgrossed The Shining. That movie spawned all of these sequels. I'm none of them have seen a dime. I'm sure. The Sixth Sense was also not considered profitable. It's crazy. It's crazy. But then the having to fight to get your name back, like what an insult that was. And like at this point, the guy wants to do a screening of the movie to raise money for what sounded like a really good cause, and Lionsgate could care less. Could care less. But hey, we're going to do this remake, and here's this guy's face, you know what I mean, all over every place, everywhere. Yeah. And that's part of, I've said this before, but I think that's kind of part of the conventions, the convention thing. Like this is their royalties. You know what I mean? Granted, it's us, the fans, who are paying them, but we respect them And we cherish what they did far more than the people who directly contributed financially from them. You know, our entertainment has more worth to us than the financial gain that those movies made to the studios. So, you know, it's us that are kind of paying those royalties, but we do it, you know, without hesitation. Wow. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Oh, by the way, there's going to be a Scary Movie remake or reboot too. Remember Scary Movie? It's getting remade too. Yeah, the Blair Witch actors do conventions. Yeah. All three of them are going to be at Scarefest this year, actually. Heather was at Days of the Dead in Atlanta that I was at, but I didn't see her. I think that's more, I mean, that I mentioned in my video that like to find some celebrities at that convention was like going on a scavenger hunt. So she was there. Where she was, I don't know. They had her like hidden away, but to find certain celebrities, you literally had to like, it was a scavenger hunt. You met Richard Burgi from Hostel 2 and Friday the 13th remake. Oh, that's cool. He bought you a beer. You talked for 45 minutes. That's cool. Nice. No, from what I heard from the announcement I saw, it was a remake or a reboot, whatever, of Scary Movie. So, I mean, hey, Scream is popular again, right? I'm surprised it's taking them this long. Because, I mean, Scary Movie was a spoof of Scream. Now Scream's hot again, or, I mean, yeah, it's still technically hot, but, you know, I think they would have dusted off Scary Movie right after 5, or at least right after 6, right? But the quality of the shirts in TeePublic are really good quality for Frightful Night. They really are. Really good quality. Let me see if I've missed anything in the chat. Thoughts on Cobra with Sylvester Stallone? I love it. I love Cobra. Great freaking movie. Great movie. So yeah, we've got a Scary Movie reboot or remake to look forward to soon as well. Nice. I want. Are the Wayans going to be involved? That's my question. Will the Wayans be involved? Because if they're not involved, you can count me out. Let's see. No, I had one other thing on the docket I wanted to talk about. Oh, yes. The Crow, continuing our discussion of remakes. The Crow remake has been postponed until August, and Saw 11 has been postponed until next year. I wonder if The Crow being postponed is a sign of trouble. Like, are they going to do some reshoots there, or was it just a move? Because, I mean, honestly, June seemed like an odd time to release a Crow movie. The Crow doesn't seem like summer blockbuster fodder to me. Like, you know, those of us who are going to go see it, we're going to go see it whenever, right? But the casual moviegoer, if it's The Crow versus whatever big spectacles, you know, special effects movie with A-list, you know, actor in it, I think they're going to go with the big spectacle special effects movie with the A-list actor in it. So yeah, a summer even in August, it's a little odd for a Crow movie. Like, to me, it seems like September, October would be ideal for that film. But I don't know. I guess they think they've got a blockbuster on their hands, or a potential blockbuster. I don't know. I personally don't see it being a blockbuster. I think putting it out in the summer, even in August, when you've still got big movies coming out, is, I don't know. Doesn't. If they've got a lot of confidence in the movie, why not just release it in June and let it, you know, see what it's going to do if you've got a lot of confidence in it? But clearly they don't, or they're going to do some tinkering with it, so they need a couple of extra months. But still, August is still summer. There's still big movies coming out in August. So I don't know. I'm not surprised that they pushed it, but I'm surprised they didn't push it back a little further. And I know there's been, you know, test screenings, and the test screenings were not positive. So, you know, maybe that had something to do with it. I'm not sure what other movies are coming out in June. I saw somebody say like Bad Boys 3 is coming out in June, and like, you know, maybe that was the reason, which, I mean, are people really chomping at the bit for another Bad Boys movie, though? I think a Crow fall release date would be ideal. Seems more fitting. Yeah. And less competition. Yeah. The first Crow was March or April. Mm-hmm. That's good for Saw. Have they even like started Saw? I mean, like, May of 94 is when The Crow came out. Okay. I was not a big fan of The First Omen. I know I'm in the minority there. I mean, there were some people who didn't like it in the comments of my video. But just about, I mean, most people seem to have really liked that movie. I thought it was boring. It just bored me to tears. But most people seem to like it. So, Bad Boys 4. There have been 3 Bad Boys movies, really? Lord have mercy. Okay. But are people chomping at the bit for Bad Boys 4? Oh, Alien Romulus comes out in August. Ooh, so I mean, The Crow does still have some competition, you know? because I think most of the same crowd who are going to go watch, I mean, they're probably not going to be the same weekend, but I would imagine this similar crowds for both, you know. But like, I wonder if Alien Romulus, I mean, are people like, you know, I mean, I know like we're going to go watch Alien Romulus. We're excited for Alien Romulus. But like, does the casual moviegoer still care, or care at all for Alien? Because like, Alien Covenant was not a hit. People didn't care for that one. And that one was, you know, that one was definitely marketed as an alien movie. Prometheus was Prometheus, but Covenant was marketed as an alien movie, and it did not do well. So, is there still an odd? I mean, is I don't know. Can that movie kind of cross over and be a big hit? I don't know. I think Alien at one point maybe was a casual franchise. For a short time, I think it was a casual franchise. And then Alien 3 said, no, screw that. And Alien Resurrection did not help. So. There's Christian in the chat. 72 in Louisiana. Ooh, it's been hot here. We've had crazy weather here in Kentucky. Like today it was like 80 and like hot. And yesterday or day before yesterday, it was like cold and nasty and rainy. And tomorrow it'll probably be, you know, a brisk 60 and over. It's just the weather's been crazy. It feels like summer one day, and then it's like we're back in early spring the next day. It's wild. I disagree, Death Proof. I think they tried to get Alien Covenant as far away from Prometheus as possible. Those trailers for Alien Covenant had aliens all over them. They wanted everybody to know. I mean, they even called it Alien Covenant. So clearly, they wanted to remove. It's like they didn't want anybody to even know there was a connection to Prometheus. The Hitcher 4K is still in the works. The Second Side Films did an update on it not long ago. They're still working on it. And the only update that I've seen recently about Trick or Treat is that still no release date. I don't know what the deal is with Trick or Treat. I don't know what's happened to that. I don't know if it's a technical issue, I have no idea. But no release date. Still no release date. So I don't know. You love Covenant? Got some love for Covenant in the chat. Covenant is your least liked Alien movie? I'll tell you, I liked Prometheus too. I think Prometheus gets a bad rap. I loved Prometheus, but Covenant wasn't for me. Well, this Romulus is supposed to be like cover all the bases. Like it's aliens, but there's also like it doesn't ignore Prometheus or Covenant. That's all in it as well. There's, it's not ignoring anything. Covenant is covering all the bases. So that could be interesting. Yeah. My favorite part of the Alien franchise is that each individual film has its own fan base. I mean, I can see that. Because, I mean, like, each movie is kind of, the original one is very much like gothic, horror. Aliens is sci-fi action. Alien 3 is a little bit of the original, but just dreary and nihilistic and, like to go from Aliens to Alien 3. And I love Alien 3. But they're two very different movies. Alien Resurrection, I don't like at all. Don't like that one at all. Prometheus, I like. Covenant, I was not a big fan of. Most anticipated release of this year is Furiosa. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Yep, I'm down for that. Supposedly Romulus takes place between Alien and Aliens. I think I heard that. Which makes it even more strange. Like, how are you connecting Prometheus and Covenant into it if it takes place in that time frame? I don't know. It's interesting. Are you and Jeremy planning on seeing the 25th anniversary release of Star Wars Episode 1? God, it's been 25 years since The Phantom Menace? Holy Lord. Oy. 25 years. I remember seeing that movie in the theater when it first came out. I watched it twice in the theater. Oh man, 25 years. Good God. Jeremy would probably go if it's playing anywhere around here. I'm sure he would go. And I'd kind of like to see it again on the big screen too. The Gore Covenant is so good. It is gory. It is gory. Do you think Nosferatu will continue the trend of Dracula movies performing poorly at the theater this year? Breaks my heart. Demeter was so good. Yeah, I love Demeter. I don't know. I think Nosferatu has a lot of hype behind it because it's not Dracula. It's Nosferatu. And I think you've got Dave Eggers, everybody loves him, or well, I shouldn't say everybody loves him, but like, he, I think he makes it interesting. Of course, Bill Skarsgård as Nosferatu makes it interesting as well. There just seems to be a lot of hype around that movie. The only thing that concerns me is like, it's April and there's a lot of hype around that movie. And the movie doesn't come out till December. So, hope the hype, we're not, prematurely expending all the hype for Nosferatu. There was some footage shown from the film recently somewhere, I think at a film festival. And it allegedly revealed what Nosferatu looks like. So I'd like to see. I'm surprised that footage hasn't leaked or images haven't leaked, but I'd love to see what that design looks like. But no, I think the movie will do. Hopefully, I think it'll do well. I don't think people will hopefully not link it to too much to Dracula, because Nosferatu was kind of its own thing. Did I say Dave Eggers? Robert Eggers. Dave Eggers. That's an author, I think. But I did love Demeter. I hope people give it a chance. I really liked it. Johnny Recaps, how you doing, sir? Hope you're well. Oh, well, Kevin, you're right. Yeah, what am I thinking? Prometheus and Covenant take place before the original Alien. Yeah. What am I even thinking? Yeah, you're right. For some reason, I had them lined up like in the order they were released. Yeah, I agree. I think Demeter suffered bad release date. And I loved Renfield, by the way, too. But I think, yeah, it wasn't promoted enough, and I think it's just a bad release date. Will Last Voyage of the Demeter ever get a 4K? I mean, probably not. Honestly, it was not a big hit at the box office, and you know, people don't buy 4Ks, or 4Ks don't perform as well as Blu-rays or DVDs. And DVDs outsell Blu-rays still. It's the original Nosferatu was based on Bram Stoker's Dracula. As a matter of fact, I think the estate of Bram Stoker sued at some point, but they changed, they changed certain things to make it its own thing. So. Yeah, I have too. Yeah, I have too. I've been excited for it ever since it was announced. Oh, see, there you go. Yeah. Unauthorized adaptation. The German company got sued. Yeah. But I think most people think of Nosferatu as its own thing. I mean, I think they kind of know, yeah, it's they know about that lineage with Dracula, but they don't think, Nosferatu's Nosferatu. It's this rat-like creature, you know what I mean? He's not sexy. You know what I mean? Dracula's sexy, right? Nosferatu's not sexy. Dracula's all, romantic, and he's lovelorn, and he's crossed oceans of time, Nosferatu is just like, I'm just going to, my little rat teeth, I'm going to get you. I'm not going to seduce you. I'm just going to, there's DWM Productions. How you doing, sir? Hope you're doing well. Those new eye masks that you're offering now look really cool. There you go, Redbeard. People only like shit movies if it stars Johnny Depp. Oh, that's a good question, Christian. I don't know. Yeah, why haven't Paramount started putting out? Paramount has, they're doing their Paramount Scares thing. So maybe maybe that's something that's in the works. Cause from what I heard, they understand that, in the past with their horror franchises, particularly Friday the 13th, that they'd kind of dropped the ball when it comes to the physical media releases, and they want to rectify that. So, maybe maybe that's something they're working on. Maybe they're wanting to do like a 4K box set or something. I don't know. But from what I've been told, like the fellow who's in charge of Paramount Scares is a big horror fan, and like, you know, he knows that they've dropped the ball in the past and they want to do better. So, oh, speaking of which, I found this steelbook at a used bookstore for $2. The Part 3 steelbook for $2. I was like, hey, I don't own it. $2, I'll get it. So, I've got Part 1 and Part 2, and I was just going to leave it at that. But I was like, I can't pass this up for $2, right? But, yeah. The Crow will not fly now until August. And, maybe it's a good thing. Maybe, you know, if there are some issues, that'll give them some extra time to fix them. Still, though, I mean, seems to me like a fall release would be a little better for that movie. Maybe there's trouble in paradise. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'm sure most of us in the chat are going to go watch it regardless. Am I right? And poor Saw 11. Poor Saw 11. Not coming out now till next year. Did Saw X do well at the box office? I mean, it must have done okay if we're getting a Saw 11, but I mean, was it a big hit? Let me see if I've missed anything in the chat. Nosferatu could be sexy. Depends on how many beers you've downed. You'd need a lot of beer. You'd be very drunk. Literally blind drunk, I think. Evil Diner. I'm one of the few people that loves all the prequels. Can't wait to go see TMP again early May. Okay. I liked The Phantom Menace. I know it's, you know, a lot of people really disliked it because of the kid and, you know, and that 20, I mean, how long was that like speeder race scene? That thing lasted forever. But I still liked the movie. Matthew loved it too. All right. I want to like Resurrection so much because the cast is amazing. Yeah, I mean, there is a great cast in Alien Resurrection. There's no doubt about that. Michael Winkett from the original Crow is up in there. I mean, you've got Ron Perlman is up in there, of course. I mean, you got Winona Ryder. You've got of course, Sigourney Weaver. You've got Brad Dourif is up in there for a little bit. You've got Alicia Silverstone's dad from Clueless is up in there for a little bit. So, yeah, good cast. Good cast. Saw X made $111 million. I mean, that's good. It definitely didn't cost a whole lot, I'm sure. So, $111 million, that's pretty good. As a content creator, are you still happy with your equipment you're using? Camera, sure, Mike. I have a bad habit of always wanting to change my equipment to new stuff. Yes. I mean, I am. I mean, the camera, the camera that I use to shoot videos is the same camera I've used for years. It's a Canon, and I mean, it's never, it's never done wrong by me. So I'm happy with it. And I mean, the Shure mic is the greatest mic in the history of mics. So you can't get any better than this microphone. Although I have tinkered with other mics and for different things. Like I've got a Yeti microphone that I use for like if I'm doing a live stream with Jeremy. That one's much better to use in that setting than this. But I mean, this is this is the microphone that Michael Jackson used to record Thriller. It doesn't get any better than this. And this microphone, the SM7B, it's not changed. They've not had to do any changes to this microphone because it's perfect. So, as far as the mic is concerned, I couldn't be happier. My camera, I can't be happier. The only thing I tinker with sometimes is the lighting. But other than that, the equipment's pretty much stayed the same. Sorry, I just had to do something real quick. Let's see. Usu. How you doing, Usu? 1999 is the best movie year ever. Okay. Some good movies came out in 99, that's for sure. Hellraiser or Hellraiser 2? I'll just go with the original. You can't go wrong with part 2 though. They're both really good. I mean, that's a tough one. I'll right now I'm feeling the original. Tomorrow I could be feeling Hellbound though. So I switched over to the SM7B about 6 months ago, and you're right, it's brilliant. I only started noticing everyone used them after I got one. I mean, there's a reason so many people do use them, because I mean, they're just good. They're just good. They're reliable. You know, they're good. Always screwing around with your lighting. Yeah, I mean, lighting definitely, lighting can make or break your video. It really can. You know, if you're too lit, you're blown out. You know what I mean? You're just like a pale ghost, bloodless creature. If it's not lit enough, I mean, people are squinting to like see. It's too dark. I mean, it's, you know, lighting. Lighting can make or break a video, and audio is such an important part of your video. Such an important part of your video. I think regardless of what kind of camera you're using, regardless of how good you are at editing, I think if people tune into a video and, you know, it's like they're tuning out immediately. You know, if the audio's not good, you're done. I mean, a lot of people out there, they don't even, their video is just random stuff, and you're supposed to pay attention to the audio, really. You know, the video portion of it can just be photos or just a random stock footage or something. You know what I mean? There's a lot of videos that are like that. Audio is so important. So important. Oh, I do want to make a quick announcement. So I am going to be doing a watch party over on my Twitch channel sometime next week. I'm not exactly sure of the date, but one day next week I'm going to be doing a watch party for one of my favorite 80s thrillers. I love this movie so much. Jack's back. So if you're not following me on Twitch, definitely drop me a follow on Twitch. Again, I'm not sure what day it's going to be, but just keep your eyes peeled. If you're not following me on social media, either do that. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, the whole nine. TikTok too. So yeah, that'll be a fun watch party. What physical media release? What's a physical media release you're anticipating? The Crow 4K is definitely one of them. I've actually pre-ordered both the standard and the Steelbook for the Crow. And there's a Walmart Steelbook that looks really cool too. So I'm tempted with that one. What are some other good physical media releases that are coming out? There's a Criterion release that there's actually 2 Criterion releases that I want to pick up. And if you're familiar with my channel, you know, I'm not a big Criterion guy, but Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas is getting a 4K. I want that one. Peeping Tom is coming out pretty soon. I think is that one a Criterion? I think that one might be a Criterion. I think there's one other Criterion I'm excited about too. Let's see. But definitely Fear and Loathing. Peeping Tom is a Criterion and it's a 4K. Seems like there was another Criterion release that I was interested in. I don't know. But there's 3 releases that I'm definitely looking forward to in the near future. The Crow 4K and the Fear and Loathing Criterion 4K and the Peeping Tom Criterion 4K. If you've not dropped a like on the stream, please do so. I would appreciate that. You know, I'm gonna make a I'm gonna make a confession here. I'm not a huge Killer Clowns guy. I'm just not. I record on an iPhone, but I've always taken my audio seriously. And for the most part, my mics aren't that expensive either. I mean, iPhones, I mean, entire movies have been filmed on iPhones. So, I mean, the iPhone is no slouch. I think like what the 15 Pro or the 14 Pro or whatever it was, you know, the camera on that one is supposed to be insane. I've been a Samsung Galaxy guy for the past several years, but I've been thinking about when I upgrade to look into an iPhone because of the camera. But yeah, audio is so important, so important. I remember years ago when you got a lav mic, you would clip on your shirt, and I thought it was the most impressive thing ever. Yeah, like that was, and I was recording on a cell phone at that time too. I don't. It may have actually. Was it It might have been an iPhone actually that I was recording onto with the lav mic. Yeah. I've got a newer lav mic here actually, and I've used it for a few things. And there's actually it's a wireless lav mic system that I've been looking into, where instead of it being, the microphone you clip on, it's attached with a magnet. And like you can barely even see it. Like if you're like wearing a black shirt, you can't even barely see it. So it's not like it's not like clumped up there or like sticking out here. Like, you've got some kind of growth on your neck. So I've been looking into that for like, car videos with Jeremy. Like, I want to do some more like food videos with Jeremy in the car, because people seem to like those. And, like when we do our videos at the theater, our before and after reactions. So you watched Wolf today for the first time. I love Wolf. That's a movie nobody talks about, but yeah, I love Wolf. Love me some Wolf. And that's right, Reggie. You can even find me on Threads. I'm on Threads. I forgot about Threads. Threads. Oh, Lord. There you go. That's the new hot social media platform right there, is Threads. Well, thank you, Wise Guy. Yes, I do have a great community of folks. I've got a lot of really, really awesome people who like what I do, and I certainly appreciate y'all. Bound is getting oh, that's right, Bound is getting a Criterion. I remember seeing that too. Yeah. I don't know if I'll pick that one up, but definitely Peeping Tom and Fear and Loathing for sure. Maybe those were the only two Criterions. I thought there was another one, but I must have been mistaken. Because I mean, I like I said, I'm not a big Criterion person. Like but for Fear and Loathing and Peeping Tom, I'll go Criterion for those two. Wait until September. That's when the new iPhones are out. Oh, what did you think of A Wonderful Knife, Joe? I had a good time with it. I enjoyed it. Richard, you liked it? Okay, cool. Yeah, I like Wolf a lot. I like that movie a lot. Where's that movie's 4K? Where's Criterion for Wolf? I want to see Jack Nicholson urinating on James Spader's shoes in 4K. That needs to happen. Criterion, where are you? Ever seen Death Squad? Just got the blue in. Don't play the trailer. Death Squad. That one sounds familiar. It's probably the kind of movie though that, like, you know, if you've seen it, you wouldn't forget it, right? Death Squad. Ooh, that sounds good. Robert Forster? I love Robert Forster. I like that plot. I definitely like that plot. When petty criminals start turning up murdered, a detective discovers they're being killed by a group of his fellow officers who think the criminals were treated too leniently by the courts. I'm going to have to check into that one. I will definitely look into Death Squad. How good was the high of the first few years of Scream Factory? Oh, sometimes I miss the feeling of those first few years. Yeah. I mean, it was a high. I mean, it definitely was. And when you say banger after banger, you're right. I mean, they came out the gate swinging with those Halloween releases. And they didn't look back for a long time. It really was. It really was a high. I mean, you're right. That's a good... Man. Yeah, just thinking about it now kind of reminds me, like, wow. I remember sitting in the car one day and just scrolling through I don't remember where I was, but I was sitting in the car scrolling through social media and, like, you know, Scream Factory. You know, these Halloween 2, Halloween 3. And did they... I don't remember if they'd announced other releases at that time or not, but it was just like, whoa, okay, you know. Yeah, man, it really was a high. I mean, they were dropping banger after banger for the longest time. I think that Halloween box set was their peak. I think that was the peak. And things have kind of, you know, that was the high water mark. That's where the wave broke. And it's kind of, you know, there's been high points since. But I was talking to somebody about Scream Factory. Somebody who'd worked for Scream Factory at the Full Moon Convention. And we were both just like, what's happened? What's happened to Scream Factory? And yeah, it's sad. It's kind of sad, you know, thinking like where they were at that time, kind of where they are now. Because like the two main guys, Jeff and Cliff, are no longer there, and they really are following the Anchor Bay Road to Ruin. Let's just release the same thing over and over again. Or like occasionally here's like, you know, some limited release of some movie that, you know, maybe a few people are excited about, but yeah, man, that was a huge high. And they reminded me of Anchor Bay in Anchor Bay's heyday during that high. Now they're reminding me of Anchor Bay in their decline now. Oh, that's not the same movie? It's a French movie. What? It's also called... Well, I'm going to bookmark The Death Squad with Robert Forster because I like Robert Forster. It's also called Brigade of Death. All right, maybe let me see if I can find it under Brigade of Death. I'll bet this is it. Oh, okay. So, cop investigating prostitute murder? Is that the right one, Tom? That one sounds pretty good. That one sounds pretty good too. I like Splatter University. I don't watch it very often, but I like Splatter University. Scream Factory 2012 to like 2015 was amazing. Yeah. And I mean, they were like, I don't know, it's like they had their finger on the pulse of like what horror fan physical media collectors wanted. Because it was like the Halloween stuff, you know, stuff and stuff that like had not made the jump from VHS to any other medium. So like Prison, you know, like people were really, I was excited for that Prison release because it hadn't made the jump. A Town That Dreaded Sundown, you know, they brought us Town That Dreaded Sundown on Blu-ray. And then of course, you know, they gave us like the big ones, you know, The Burning. Like, that was a great Burning release. The Funhouse, you know what I mean? My Bloody Valentine. Yeah, I mean, a big chunk of my collection back there is Scream Factory. So great learning about movies to check out being here. You guys are so nice. I'm a casual horror fan. No judgment from y'all. No, not at all, man. No judgment. Yeah, glad you're here. Glad you're learning about some new movies to check out. There's a lot of great ones out there. Yeah, exactly. Saturn Video. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I agree. The Friday the 13th set is awesome. There were high points after the Halloween set. There were high points. There were issues with that Friday box set. Don't forget, there were issues. But I agree. Yeah, it is awesome. There's no doubt about it. Wish they'd put out more movies like Unlawful Entry. I mean, that's it. You know, those kind of limited releases, that's kind of the only new stuff they're putting out. The Friday the 13th set's almost 4 years old now. Yeah, they actually they announced that on my birthday. I remember. Yeah, it's quite a happy birthday. Or no, they didn't announce it. They made it available to pre-order on my birthday. I remember. I knew about it a little bit before it came out, because I'd been contacted about them including some of my footage from Camp Nobi Bosco on it. So I knew about it a little bit before it was officially announced and was super excited. Phantom of the Paradise, that was another one. Yep. That one's back there in the collection. Absolutely. No, I know that Scream Factory started on it. I know they'd done some interviews for a Nightmare on Elm Street box set. But then something happened, and the last word from Cliff McMillan himself was that apparently New Line, Warner Brothers, whoever, they're going to do it in-house. That was a couple of years ago, I think, at least at this point. So, but I do know that a Scream Factory Nightmare on Elm Street box set was 100% happening at one point. Interviews had been done, and then something happened. I don't know. What could have been? Oh, my neck is sore. I was working traps today, and all that got me sore. Which is, it's weird when you, it's a weird like feeling to like hold weights and shrug, because like I feel like I'm not shrugging naturally. So like I'll have to think about like, how do you shrug? Am I shrugging right? Is that how you shrug? and then I'll like start making like I'll start thinking like if I like I'll start making these faces like if I was really shrugging. So like I'm in my little workout room holding weights going over and over. I should record it. It'd be a funny video of me just going so yes, that is. Yep, that's the footage they used. Yep. That is the footage indeed. Out there trapping. I know. Out there trapping. There you go. Let's see. We've been going for a little over 2 hours now. Any questions or anything before we call it a night? Thank you all for 74 likes on the stream. If you're watching on YouTube, please drop a like on the stream. And thank you, Eerie Spirits, for taking care of business over there on Twitch, my friend. And again, if you're not following me on Twitch, do so. We're going to have a fun watch party very soon. Jack's back. Oh, thank you, Entertainment Wizard. Yeah, I love the shirts. Love that artwork. I also got the pin. I wish the pin had been in that red and blue style too, though. But still cool. This may be the best pin ever produced. You've got Roy and Reggie there. And the back of it is a chocolate bar. That's freaking cool. Did they pay me to use the footage? No. I gave it to them free of charge. They were supposed to send me, well, I don't, one of the producers of the box set had requested that they send me a copy because I had given them my footage free of charge. And I'm still waiting for that box set. Still waiting. Maybe one day. Maybe one day it'll turn up. But yeah, so he at least did try to get me a free copy, a contributor's copy. But just hasn't turned up yet. I'm sure it's on its way. It'll be here any day now. Competition, I think, is definitely part of it. I think, competition is part of it, and I think they just ran out of things to release. There was a point in time where they were instead the focus was supposed to shift from releasing other people's stuff and making their own product to release, producing their own movies to release. And that didn't happen. For some reason, that didn't happen. And I think they just ran out of stuff to release. They bought out like the Corman catalog. And I know they didn't release everything in the Corman catalog. You know, there's still Corman movies out there that they didn't release. I don't know why they haven't. I don't know. Oh, thanks, man. Thank you. Better than the Bucky pin? Man. It's a close one. It's a toss-up. I appreciate you being here, P.S. Glad I could join the stream. It's been a while. It has been a while, Alexis. I'm glad you could be here, too. Thank you for hanging out with us. I heard that this was several years ago, but I heard there was a company putting together a Phantasm 4K box set. And that's not happened yet. So I don't know what happened there. If maybe it's something they're still working on, but there was a prominent boutique label that was doing a Phantasm 4K set. All the movies on 4K. Maybe not Ravager. Maybe I don't remember. It was a 4K set. I just can't imagine Ravager looking great in 4K, but it was in the works. Maybe it'll still happen. I don't know. Anything else you find folks want to discuss before we call it a night? Anything else on your minds? We discussed the 40th anniversary of the final chapter. And what a perfect slasher movie that is. We discussed the Friday the 13th game Resurrected getting hit with its cease and desist. We discussed the Blair Witch remake or reboot, whatever it's going to be. Oh, Lord. The Crow and Saw 11 getting postponed. Scary Movie getting a remake. We talked about the MaXXXine trailer. Covered a lot of bases tonight. Dead Zone 2023. It's been a while. What do you think of my picture? What do you mean? It's Bret Hart's. Cool. The Hitman. The excellence of execution. Any word on why the Faculty 4K keeps getting delayed? No, no idea. Not that I've heard. Oh, thank you for hanging out, Richard. Well, thank you for hanging out as well, Punisher. Glad you enjoyed it, my friend. Alrighty, folks. I'm going to go ahead and call tonight there. Again, Jack's back. Watch party coming out. Or happening sometime this week. If you're not following me on Twitch, go ahead and do so. Be sure if you're not following me on the other socials, I'm out there. And let me do some shout outs here. Shout out to Eerie Spirit, to Evil Diner 666, and Astro Juicy for hanging out with me over on Twitch tonight. Bring up it's Burt Gummer Day. Is it Burt Gummer Day? I did not know that. Are you telling me that, like, Tremors was released on this day? Burt is considered a legend and a superhero in some circles. April 14 is also known as Burt Gummer Day. How have I lived this many years without knowing that April 14th is Burt Gummer Day? Well, salute to Burt Gummer. Wow. Burt Gummer. You know what? I think this day is deserving of a shot of some menthol mint Dr. McGillicuddy for Burt Gummer. For you, Burt. That was for you, Bert, wherever you are. Wherever you are. Shout out to Parker Allen for the $1.99 super chat. Shout out to Spooks McCreepy for 24 months, 2 years of being a channel member. Appreciate that. And shout out to Bismo Funyuns for the $5 super chat. Let's see who's still with me here over on YouTube. And if you've not hit that like button before you leave, please do so. We got Usu here. We got Caleb Croft. We got Tom from DWN Productions. Dead Zone 2023 Ghost. We got Witch Hunter, Horror Orman, Jay Dobbsy. Yes, Jack's back does rule. Kevin Dudley. Wellgo USA does not have the Phantasm movies anymore. Richard C. Chris B. Entertainment Wizard. Barney Likes Beer. Joe Reese. Richard Stange. Alexis. Reggie. 19. Matthew. Scratch Betterno. Caleb Croft. Distorted Visions. Saturn Video. Let's see, who else? I think, okay. That's as far as the chat will let me go. Oh, Lordy. Alrighty. Well, thank y'all for hanging out with me tonight. I appreciate it. Hope y'all have a great rest of your Sunday night and have a great start to your week. Thanks again for tuning in. Take care. Be well. And I'll see you again real soon. Until then, peace.